Hi friends, this is Mrs. King. Today I'm going to be reading you the story In Mary's Garden by Tina and Carson Kugler. In Mary's Garden by Tina and Carson Kugler. Mary was a little girl with big ideas. While the other girls took cooking classes, Mary tried woodworking. She helped her father build a house on the shore of Lake Michigan. Mary was happiest when her hands were busy making, building, creating things. As she grew older, she would travel all over the world, and she drew everything she saw. Mary fell in love with art. But the Wisconsin winters were long and cold, and she would often think of the bright colors and wonderful things she had seen on her travels. One spring morning, Sassafras and Basil discovered a marvelous creature washed up on the sand. Only it was just a little piece of him, but Mary understood. Together they found more. Then they loaded up their bumpy red wagon and headed home. Over the next few days they found another scrap here, another jumbled lump there. Mary loved to collect things she found, and she knew just how to use them. Mary mixed cement with beach sand like her father had shown her many years before. She spread the cement over a support she built of wood, pipes, and chicken wire. The dogs watched curiously as the creature grew. Mary dragged an old comb over the wet cement to make textures. She carefully covered the creature with beach glass, smooth stones, shells, and driftwood. It took a long time to put together all the odds and ends and bits and bobs, but finally Mary was done. The creature was magnificent. But Sassafras thought he looked a little lonely. Mary agreed. Basil brought the wagon. And the three of them went back to the beach and found another wonderful creature waiting for them on the sand. Only it was just a little piece of her, and one piece led to another, until creature after creature leapt and crawled and danced from Mary's imagination and into her garden. Mary always had room for one more stone, one more shell, and one more friend. The Wisconsin artist Mary Knoll, 1914 to 2021, spent her summers with her family at their Lake Michigan cottage. In 1928, when she was 13, her model airplane won first prize in her industrial arts class. She was one of only 2 girls in the class. At age 24, Mary graduated from the School of Art Institute of Chicago. She became an art teacher and later ran a small pottery studio. Mary also traveled to Mexico, Guatemala, Europe, and Africa. She crossed the ocean 12 times in 12 years. She took her sketchbook everywhere and drew everything she saw. In 1943, her family's beloved lakeside cottage was remodeled for year-round use, and Mary moved back to live by the lake with her parents. In the 1960s, her elderly mother and father passed away. Out of her loss came hope, because her parents left her the cottage she loved and an inheritance to live comfortably. Mary became financially independent. She could now dedicate all of her time to making art. Mary loved dogs and had them as constant companions throughout her life. Sassafras and Basil were her dogs during the time period of this book. During the cold Wisconsin winters, Mary's art transformed the inside of her house. She covered the walls with paintings. She melted down the family silverware to make jewelry. She painted every surface, including the furniture and carpeting, with bold swirls and splatters. "So I won't have to vacuum so often," she would say. "The cracker crumbs won't show." When the weather was warm, huge sculptures rose from her yard. Visitors came from all over to marvel at Mary's wonderful garden and home. No one had ever seen anything like it. Some people didn't understand Mary's unusual creations and called her a witch. A few even threw stones at her windows, but Mary wasn't deterred. After vandals destroyed 2 of her sculptures, she used the pieces to make more art. The remaining support posts became the front legs of a smiling 12-foot dinosaur. Making art made Mary truly happy. She wasn't interested in selling her art or being famous. She made art for herself. Even today, Mary's art is controversial. Her affluent neighbors considered the traffic generated by onlookers to be a nuisance, demanding Mary's beloved home and creations be dismantled and relocated. The John Michael Kohler Art Center in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, is seeking to preserve her legacy, and we hope Mary's extraordinary art will be enjoyed and cherished for generations to come.